the 1st of June, Wednesday, the 1st of June, which is the first day of winter here in the Southern Hemisphere, and particularly in my part of the world, Southeast Australia. It is a cold blast. Winter has struck with a bang. It is very, very cold, wet and windy, but us Melbourneites love the cold, invigorating weather. Wherever you may be, I hope it's a terrific day. Welcome to episode 20 of the Mindset Reflexology Show, where we discuss all things psychology and mindset for traders to help you build the right mind and brain for trading success. Today's episode is managing the emotional avalanche that triggers overtrading. This is such a interesting area. In speaking about this and even posting on social media, I've had a lot of comments, most agreeing that overtrading is a problem, but some comments have been along the lines of, well, here's an idea. Why don't you just plan not to overtrade? Which sounds so obvious and simple, and therein lies the trap and the problem. If it was as easy as see a problem, make a plan, execute the plan, and it work, that's what everyone would obviously be doing. The problem with overtrading is that it is triggered by deep-seated emotional programs. So let's dive in. Good morning, Brett. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. As always, I've got my notes, and the reason I have notes is it's particularly important to hit all of the points that I want to touch on with this really important topic. So, let's talk about discussing how you break the habit of overtrading. You've trained, you have a plan, and you're about to trade that plan, and before you know it, you get in the heat of the moment, and you're just sitting there, and all of those best laid plans just get sucked down the vortex. How does that happen? Suddenly, you're overtrading. You're taking trades that you don't need to be in. And all of a sudden, you're no longer in that calm, disciplined state of mind. You're all over the place, and you just lost your stuff. The damage report's right there, okay? So how do you go about doing that? What just happened? So let's take a look at it first from what happens on a work level. Now, most people come into trading literally having been taught that what you really want to be doing is to be taking action. You've got to be trading to be trading. They will come in often from businesses, from corporate life, sometimes from sports background, where taking action, doing something, making something happen really worked. It allowed them to grow, it allowed them to win, it allowed them to become who they could be in that environment. The problem is this: it doesn't work in trading. What works in trading is something completely different. So, but first, I want to go back to this, and so we've come to this moment where you really have learned that taking action, making things happen, does in fact produce positive results. What the brain does when it sees that, it says, oh, what a successful solution in the short term that was for results, for survival. And it will literally glue it in. It will give you a burst of dopamine, okay? Dopamine, which is the closest equivalent to what I would talk about would be cocaine, right? And you get this enormous reward that takes the brain and says, okay, I like that. I'm going to habituate that, hardwire it right in. And before you know it, you have a great habituation for literally saying, okay, when I see that, I need to be trading. I need to be doing something. I need to be taking action in order to be able to control the outcome, making things happen. That's how the pattern gets set up. And suddenly what happens is, you've become a stalker, a hunter, a person who has a bias to chase trades. So you get in and you say, well, I'm sitting here, I'm bored, there's no dopamine there, okay? And the brain is saying, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. You need to be doing something. This is not how you produce success. Does that sound familiar, that inner chatter? So what it does, all of a sudden, you start getting this urgency to act, to make things happen. And before you know it, dopamine and testosterone are running through your blood. And you don't have the ability to make good, rational decisions about risk. That's evaporated. That's the testosterone. And you want to feel good. Of course, you want to feel that rush. Of course. That's the ticket right there. That habituates. And it's been very successful for a long period of time in the course of human history, and particularly for you. It's a successful behavior, and you're kind of stuck in there. It's a habit. It's a trait. Then you get to trading, right? And it doesn't work anymore. Trading has a completely different success formula. You don't make things happen in trading. What happens in trading, instead of the urgency to act, to make things happen, what you develop is, need to develop, is the urge to be patient, okay? You wait for the prey to come to you. You become an ambush predator. You wait for the setup to come to you. It is completely different. This causes most trader guys and girls to really examine what they mean by work. And this goes to a very deep level for most people. Most people believe that work is literally about taking action, doing things, busyness. Okay, that's what's been wired in for the vast majority of the population through, the human genome, our lived environment, society. Everything teaches us and tells us that work is related to doing things and taking action. However, the work of trading is very, very different. The work of trading is patience. This is the piece that you have to get. Otherwise, when you walk in and you say, you know something, I don't have a whole bunch of time. I need to make this happen. I have a quota I want to be hitting today, a profit amount of money. I have a target I want to be hitting. And you know something, I only have so many years, only so much money to make all this work. I need to be doing something. You see what I mean? There is an urgency there. I have to make this happen. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You walk into the arena of trading like that, and you're going to blow up accounts. You're going to bleed your account dry. Now, the training that's required for this is actually very simple. You begin to go, okay, what I see is I see myself, I like this excitement, I like this dopamine, I like this chase. I can feel it build up, and it feels so good to be ready to do something. And yet, at the same time, that is what we call short-term survival thinking that is hardwired into us. Trading requires a very different mindset. It requires a mindset of thinking and probability. So we call that probability thinking in the long term, so that statistically you're a winner over time. Thanks, Brett. Just have a sip of my hot coffee. You're quite right, my friend. So, the biology and most likely the psychology that you bring into trading wants short-term success right now. And I hope that really resonates, because that statement lies at the bottom of why 95% of traders fail in the long term, because they bring a biology and a psychology that wants short-term success right now. So there's a real polarity there, and I hope you see that dichotomy. So until you say, you know what, I'm going to go in and change that neural pathway, that circuitry. Now, it doesn't happen like magic. This is one of the things in our industry. It doesn't happen like magic. You can't say, well, I'm just going to go and plug in another external unit into my trading mind, and suddenly I'm going to move from certainty thinking and making things happen to probability thinking, where I understand that I have to develop the patience to wait for it to come to me. This requires real work. It requires going in and literally, almost like being a neurosurgeon, and going in and doing neurosurgery on the circuitry, right? It takes enormous courage. It takes enormous foresight to be able to see that Certainty thinking was really successful back then. This urgency to act and make things happen was really successful. But the truth is this: when most people come in and blow up a lot of accounts and they bleed a lot of accounts, they finally come to the realization that that doesn't work. That's generally when I start working with people, right? You can take a shortcut, you can start noticing the urgency, and it's hard to notice because it feels so good, right? So this is what I'm trying to guide you around: the emotional management of the triggers that lead to overtrading. And it starts with noticing it and noticing that it's happening. And this is where it's really paradoxical. Noticing something that feels so good is tricky to notice because it feels natural, okay? That's the dopamine. That moment when you start feeling good in trading is when you've already stepped down the slippery slope. What you're looking for is to say, you know something, I know I have this tendency to start getting pretty excited, feeling good, and I'm ready to get down there and make things happen. That right there is the moment where you catch yourself. That's when you can start disrupting the pattern. And here's where it starts. It starts with breath. Then it starts with stepping back into mindfulness and start noticing the pattern and noticing the belief of, I need to be taking action to be doing something. I've spoken about this a lot, and I will keep speaking about it because that belief that sits implicitly in the vast majority of people, that deep down inside, no matter what on the surface you're saying to yourself, deep down inside, there's this belief that you need to be doing something, to be taking action, right, to be successful. Now, what you want to do is to start reorganizing that into higher functioning. And so you start going, no, what this is really about is the development of patience as a practice. And you're going to need to do that and work on it a long time ahead of when it actually becomes a trait. And out of that patience, what you start noticing is that a calmness that has to be acceptable. Otherwise, you will fall into boredom, and boredom is the death knell for successful trading. You have to notice and teach yourself and train to accept that a state of calmness is normal and desirable. So the whole notion between boredom and patience is really dynamic. If you're trading and you're experiencing boredom, you can be sure that your mind has an urgency to act and chase trading type mentality. Now, if that happens, you really need to look and say, what is this belief system that's showing up in my mind that is polluting my ability to interpret data very well? And you're going to see the need for instant success. You're going to see the need to prove yourself. You're going to see the need to make yourself powerful and to matter. Now, on the other hand, as you start developing patience and realizing that boredom is telling you where to look, right? Often the things that trouble us are the things that are telling us where to look. Boredom is telling you where to look if you want to become a trader with patience. And what you're looking at is going, okay, now at patience, I wait and I'm going to see what the markets are going to give me. I'm going to wait and see what the markets are going to give me, okay? And if you hear a bunch of conversation in your head, you know, that internal chatter, that internal dialogue going, you know, yeah, but this is a trading opportunity. Take this trade. Now, what you realize is you are recognizing and seeing the internal struggle and that you have work to do, okay? Until that internal struggle of action is transitioned to the patience of steady strike, you are stuck. This is the big divide, and it is literally a process. It's not something you change like magic. It's a process that starts with emotional regulation, then it goes to mindfulness and recognizing the structure that you're stuck in and beginning to disrupt it. And we use breathing for that. And then it goes to developing new organization of self, the internal traits that allow you to trade patiently and with discipline. and recognizing that less is more. Okay, less is more with trading, and you realize that patience equals victory. You begin to wait and you recognize that. Okay, and you know, the mind that I brought to trading was a very good mind for what I used to do, and however, it's just that it's not that good with what I'm doing now, and it's time to tweak it. It's time to change it, and I need to evolve to become the trader I can be. That's where the work is. Self-mastery leads to trading mastery. So the trader that consistently waits for trades to come to them, patiently takes action when it's warranted, not when you get all excited or flustered or wondering if you're ever going to make it. It has to be from a very calm center. That's the emotional state of mind, my friends. Okay, that's the emotional state of mind. If you want to learn and explore how to develop that correct, calm, emotional state of mind, come and explore my YouTube channel. I'm always posting new episodes, new videos on the trading mindset and psychology channel, where you can study, watch them backwards and forwards, take some ideas and start to put that into your trading practice. Okay, and you can really start looking at more closely at what it's going to take to produce the mind that trades like a patient ambush killer. Okay, that's the ticket. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode about managing the emotional state that triggers overtrading. It really is key to a sustainable trading career. So take these ideas, start practicing them. If you ever want to talk to me, reach out, check out the YouTube channel. And above all, take good care. Have a fantastic day or evening wherever you may be. I will see you on next week's episode.